HTML5 provides 6 heading elements from H1 through H6 for specifying the relative importance of information. Heading element H1 is considered the most significant one and is typically rendered in a larger font than the other 5. And each successive heading element from H2, H3, etc. is typically rendered in a progressively smaller font. One of the most important HTML5 features is the hyperlink, which references or links to other resources, such as HTML5 documents and images, videos. So when a user clicks on the hyperlink, the browser tries to execute an action associated with it. For example, navigate to our resource. Here we have 4 links. If we click on Google, the browser will go to the Google site. And any displayed element can act as a hyperlink. And a web browser usually underline the hyperlinks and the colors as their text blue by default, and so that user can distinguish hyperlinks from the plain and text. In this web page, we create text hyperlinks to 4 websites. And here we note we have a text, say click a name to visit that site. And if we look at the source code, we will see we have a strong element. Here is the source code. In line 13, it introduces the strong element, which indicates that its content has higher priority. So browsers typically render such text in a bold font. And the links are created using A, which means it's an anchor element. And the line 16 defines a hyperlink to the URL assigned to attribute href, which is hypertext reference, which will specify a resource's location. So you need to put the complete HTTP address for the attribute href. The resource can be a web page or a location within a web page, or external website, or a file attachment, or an email address. For example, the anchor element in line 16 links the text Facebook to a web page located at http://www.facebook.com, and the browser changes the color of any text link once the user clicks it. Usually the default link, the color is purple. It's a blue, and when the user clicks on it, it will become purple. You can set those colors. As a programmer, you can set those colors. So when a URL doesn't indicate a specific document on the website, usually the web server just returns a default web page for the index.html. But most web servers can be configured to use any files at the default web page for the site. And if the page is not found in the web server, it just returns an error message to see the file is not in the web server. As introduced before, anchors can link to email address also, using a mail to, then plus the email address. In lines 13 to 14 contains an email link. And the form of an email anchor is a href equal to double quote mail to, then you have an email address. And in this case, we link to the email address at the book address, data@data.com. And after this email address tag, we have also put some text to tell which the email is for. So when the user click on the email link, usually the default programs such as Outlook will pop up. The web pages can also contain images, animations, graphics, audios, and videos. And the most popular image format used by the web developers are usually PNG, JPEG, because their size and the resolution are fine. I recommend you to play with Adobe Photoshop or GIMP, which is free, to create some amazing images. In this web page source code, line 13 to 14, we use an img element to include an image in the document. The image file's location is specified with the src source attribute. So again, the source attribute can specify the relative location of the image file. It can also be external location of the image file. So for this web pages, the image is located in the same directory as the HTML5 document. So that only the image file name is required. And this is known as a relative path. And the image is stored relative to the location of the document. And we also have the optional attributes as width and the height to specify the image's dimensions. And you can scale an image by increasing or decreasing the values of the image width and height attributes. So if these attributes are omitted, the browser uses the image's actual width and height, and the images are measured in pixels, which represent dots of color on the screen. And the image editing programs play with pixels. And we also note in line 14 and the line 16, we have an ALT attribute. This attribute put here is in case if a browser cannot render an image, the browser will display the alt attribute's value. So it serves like an explanation message to the viewers. For example, an image is missing, or a speech synthesizer or software can speak the alt attributes value so that visually impaired users can understand what the browser is displaying. Let's transfer this image website to our remote server. I want to explain more about relative paths. I think it is very important, and usually student is easy to get confused. First of all, let's take a look of our picture HTML. So I open this with Notepad, and just like the example, we have two images to show up. Okay, and now I'm open FileZilla, and I transform the picture.html to the remote site. Okay, then I open a browser. Spectrum, my name 4443. Let me see what is the folder name. CS4443 4443 underscore book example, and from there the name is picture.html. Okay, not found. Let's see the path again. CS4443. Okay. If you take a look at the FileZilla, CS4443 is just under my user account, so it's not inside the CS4443. So let me delete this one. Now the web page is showing but missed two images. So we need also to transfer all the objects, including videos, images, to the remote site. So let's double click on this folder and let's find the image cpp htp.png and transfer to here. and let's refresh the web pages. Okay, now one image is showing, and because the other image is missing, so the alt attribute gets to work. So the alt attribute output make the web page to output an explanation message if the image is missing. The next thing I want to demonstrate, if usually you put images in a folder. So let me see, right now our HTML and the images are in the same folder. What about if I create a directory called image? So I have an image directory here, and I move this cpp htp.png inside the image folder. So now you see the relationship, the location between the image and the HTML. So the image, the HTML is in the parent directory of the image. Okay, so let's do a refresh again. Okay, let me do a refresh again. It's still showing, and I guess I need to delete the history. To make the web page update, and once you delete the history, we'll see the two images, both of the images are missing. So in the source code, we need to change something. I open the picture with Notepad, and I need to change the relative path of the image. So I should say it's in the current directory, and inside the current directory is where the HTML file is, and inside that directory we have a child folder called image, and this child folder image contains the image we want to find. And then I click save, and I transfer my files again, picture.html to the remote site. Oh, not to the image folder. Let me delete this and I go back to the picture. So let me transfer to right here. Yes, I want to replace the older one. So I update the picture.html in the remote server. So let's go back to the browser. Every time I need to delete the history. Click OK. Then I do a refresh. Now the image comes back again.